Marvel is known for hitting the mark every time with their movies and shows. After the wildly successful releases of Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, all within the past year, the latest Thor movie, Love and Thunder, was also highly anticipated. Longtime Marvel fans might remember Jane Foster, and she's returned as the mighty Thor. Today we're talking about an especially sweet BTS moment from the movie. First up, the return of Dr. Jane Foster. So, how did Jane Foster come to be Thor? She clearly wasn't a god the last time we saw her, but when director Taika Waititi handed Natalie Portman Mjolnir at Comic-Con 2019, fans were ready to see a female Thor, if a little confused. Love and Thunder was announced as a part of Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and was originally slated for a November 2021 release. Jane Foster was first shown as Thor in 2014's Thor #1 comic, when the writer Jason Aaron took the lead on Marvel Comics. The most interesting part is that Jane is not Thor's female counterpart. She was chosen by Mjolnir, so she is Thor. Jane's also battling stage 4 cancer, and in the new movie, she turns to Thor's hammer and its powers for a cure. That's how she becomes the mighty Thor, and her body rejects the illness as long as she has the hammer. Now, for the most caring co-star ever. Marvel movies aren't exactly Oscar bait, but if the Academy ever introduced an award for Most Thoughtful Actor, Chris Hemsworth would definitely win it for what he did behind the scenes on Love and Thunder. Chris has played the role of Thor in all the Marvel movies to date. The Aussie heartthrob is tall, broad, and seriously built. If you watch the movie, you probably saw just how built in that scene at the end. For that kind of body, you need to have a tough workout routine, plus a ton of protein to bulk up. Chris naturally builds up his body for the movies, which includes eating a lot of meat. And we mean a lot. According to his co-star, he's having it multiple times a day. However, Natalie is a vegan, and actually has been since she was 9 years old. The actress doesn't consume or even wear any animal byproducts, and her red carpet statements have included a lot of faux fur and no leather at all. While a lot of Hollywood stars are vegan these days, when Natalie started her career in the 90s, her statements were pretty unique for the era. But in one of the most thoughtful and understanding moves ever, Chris actually didn't eat meat all day before he had to film a kiss scene with Natalie. Natalie did mention that she wouldn't have cared or been upset if he didn't do it, but he's a very nice person for thinking of her. You could say the two actors definitely didn't have any beef. Their co-star Tessa Thompson, who plays Valkyrie, also added to the anecdote, saying she was equally confused as to how the actor went without meat, even saying that he eats bison in the morning. She called the move sweet, and we have to agree with her on that. The kiss scene popped up because any old Marvel fan will know that Jane was Thor's ex, and Taika Waititi wanted to emphasize the history between the two. He mentioned that it was easy to get Natalie to return to the MCU. All he had to do was tell her that her role would be expanded beyond Thor's girlfriend, and she wouldn't be a side character anymore. The director went on to say that the breakup gave him a lot of room to play with, comparing the two to flirtatious teenagers and establishing their dynamic that way. He made a point to add in certain looks they gave each other, hinting at the eventual return of the spark they once had. But he also mentioned that even viewers who don't know anything about the relationship's history will find the dynamic relatable, because who hasn't had a flirtationship at least once in their lives? Taika is beloved as a director too, as Natalie revealed that he was very open to feedback, allowing the actors to give their input and actually changing the movie based on their thoughts. Unfortunately for us fans, that means we didn't get to see a lot of the material that was filmed. And according to the cast, it was some great stuff. This included scenes with Jeff Goldblum, Peter Dinklage, and Lena Headey's MCU debut. Apparently, entire sequences and planets were cut from the movie. Taika is definitely a perfectionist, but he's given us some great movies, so we can't really fault him. And it turns out, Chris isn't the only one who had to get built. We're all used to the supernaturally buff God of Thunder, but fans lost it when they saw the first pictures of Natalie as Thor. The petite, delicate 5'3" actress was suddenly 6 feet tall with super muscular arms. The preparation for the role was tough, and Natalie revealed the details in interviews. She had to do intense, heavy weight training and chug protein shakes by the dozen. However, the actress mentioned that she's happy to see that there's finally representation for female superheroes with different appearances. Marvel's female superheroes have generally had fit physiques, but none of them have been especially muscular. Not only is Natalie's character refreshing to see, she's also a lot more realistic. When you're in the middle of tough physical fights and citywide destruction, the muscles tend to come naturally. Other parts of her workout included lots of boxing after a 4-month conditioning period, and adjusting her diet while staying within her vegan restrictions. For the height aspect, Natalie was given an elevated ramp to stand on during her scenes with Chris, bringing her eye to eye with the OG God of Thunder. All the actors even had to sit in an ice bath for several minutes at a time as a test of their strength. Now that's dedication. But on the other hand, Christian Bale, who plays Gore the God Butcher, the main antagonist of the film, didn't even bother working out too much. Christian is known for his insane physical transformations for different movies, but even he decided that there was no point competing with Chris Hemsworth. The veteran actor acknowledged that Thor is already crazy muscle-bound in the comics and very close to that IRL. Christian was also in the middle of filming another movie for which he had to be much skinnier, but the body didn't take away much from his character because Natalie mentioned that Gore had a very, very, very scary look, enough to scare away any children on set. Now, for other Asgardian news. First off, Lena is in legal trouble. Lena Headey, the ex-Game of Thrones actress, got the short end of the stick in Love and Thunder. The actress was supposed to make her Marvel debut in the movie, but like a lot of the movie, all her scenes were eventually cut. You might be wondering who's suing whom in the situation, and the answer is pretty strange. Lena is being sued by her former agency, YMU, which is based in the UK. The agency wants $500,000 from the actress as their commission from her role in Love and Thunder, for which she earned $7.1 million despite not even being in the final cut. And that's not all. The agency is also suing her for an additional $300,000 for 9 Bullets and $650,000 for Rita, a series that never got further than its pilot. The amounts include commissions and damages for breach of contract, along with legal fees. However, Lena denies ever signing a contract with YMU and doesn't believe the agency has any rights to the money she's made from her recent unsuccessful projects. Next, the reason behind all those cut scenes. Clearly, a whole lot was cut out of the film, and because of that, many fans thought the movie felt rushed, without fleshed out arcs and characters. There's actually a real reason for this, and not just because Taika Waititi is a perfectionist. Disney, which now owns Marvel Studios, actually gave Taika a limit to the runtime. For the most part, the director was given total creative freedom, much more than he got with Ragnarok, but the condition was that the movie had to clock in under 2 hours, which it ultimately did. There may be many reasons for this. Most probably, a shorter movie means it can play more times in a day at theaters, which means more money for Disney through ticket sales. But it could be because earlier cuts of the film may have been too long, as there were rumors of a 4-hour cut as well. Finally, will Jane Foster return? Love and Thunder ended with Jane sacrificing herself by becoming the mighty Thor one last time, a transformation that works against her chemotherapy and brings her closer to death. We said goodbye to her as she entered Valhalla and was greeted by Heimdall, confirming her death. However, in the comics, Odin sends Jane back to Earth where she focuses on getting better and eventually becomes the new Valkyrie. As the movie seems to follow the comic storyline pretty closely, we might not have seen the last of Dr. Jane Foster. That's a wrap for this video. What were your thoughts on Love and Thunder? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.